Foolish move. That's what my attorney said when he looked at the fake papers. I was drinking tea in my apartment in Tokyo when he showed me proof that my sister had stolen my beach house. The beach house Grandma left me in her will. The one with the blue shutters where we watched dolphins every summer morning. My sister thought because I lived on the other side of the world, she could get away with it. She thought nobody would notice. Big mistake. I'm Emma, 27 years old. Right now I work as a photographer in Japan, taking pictures of cherry blossoms and busy streets. Life here is calm, totally different from the chaos back home in California. My sister Rachel never left our hometown. She married her high school boyfriend, had 2 kids, and everyone thinks she's a saint. The perfect mom, the perfect daughter, the one who does everything right. And me? I'm the weird one who moved to Asia and takes pictures for a living. But one person always understood me. Grandma Helen. She owned this beautiful beach house right on the water. White sand, blue waves, seagulls flying overhead. Every time I visited, we'd wake up early and walk along the shore collecting shells. She'd hold my hand and say, "Emma, the world is bigger than this town. Go see it. Don't worry about what people think." Those words gave me courage when everyone else said I was crazy for leaving. When Grandma passed away 8 months ago, my heart broke into a million pieces. I flew home for 2 days, stood at her funeral trying not to cry in front of everyone. Then came the reading of her will. The lawyer opened an envelope and read, "I leave my beach house to my granddaughter, Emma. She'll know what to do with it." My parents looked confused. Rachel's mouth dropped open. But then she smiled, walked over, and squeezed my shoulder. "Grandma always loved your adventurous spirit," she said, her voice sweet like honey. Looking back now, that should have been my first warning. Rachel never complimented me, ever. But I was sad, tired, and needed to get back to Tokyo for a work deadline. So when Rachel offered to handle all the paperwork and legal stuff, I said yes. "Thank you so much," I told her, hugging her tight. She promised to take care of everything until I figured out my plans. She promised to protect what Grandma left me. Every word was a lie. 5 months went by. I was editing photos in my studio when my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered anyway. "Hello, is this Emma Rodriguez?" a man's voice asked. "Yes, that's me," I said, confused. "This is Mark Chen from Pacific Legal Services. I'm calling about your grandmother's beach house." My stomach dropped. "What about it?" I asked, putting down my camera. "Well," he said carefully, "I'm handling the paperwork for the new owners. They moved in last month. We just need your signature on the final transfer documents." "What?" My voice came out loud, making my assistant jump. "New owners? What are you talking about?" There was silence on the other end. "Ma'am," he said slowly, "the property was sold 6 weeks ago. Your sister handled the entire transaction. She had your power of attorney." Power of attorney? I never gave Rachel power of attorney. I never signed anything. My hands started shaking. "Mr. Chen," I said, my voice tight, "I think there's been a huge mistake. Or worse." He asked me to send him a copy of my signature from my driver's license. I did it immediately, my heart pounding in my chest. 3 hours later, he called back. "Ms. Rodriguez," he said, his voice suddenly serious, "we have a problem. The signature on the power of attorney documents doesn't match your real signature. Not even close. Someone forged your name." I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. "Are you saying my sister faked my signature?" I whispered. He cleared his throat. "I can't make accusations, but someone did. And that someone sold your property for $320,000. This is fraud, Ms. Rodriguez. You need to contact the police immediately." I hung up and just sat there, staring at the wall of my tiny Tokyo apartment. Rachel had stolen from me, my own sister. She'd forged legal documents, sold Grandma's beach house, and pocketed hundreds of thousands of dollars, all while I was thousands of miles away, completely clueless. Anger burned in my chest like fire. I called a lawyer that same day. Her name was Mrs. Anderson, and she didn't waste time with pleasantries. "Send me everything," she said. Every email, every text message, every piece of paper related to this property. We're going to destroy her case. For the next 2 days, I dug through my computer and phone. Old messages from Rachel saying she'd take care of things. Emails where she asked for my signature on totally different documents, documents I'd actually signed for Grandma's other belongings. She'd been planning this for months, building my trust so I wouldn't question her. Mrs. Anderson looked at everything and said 4 words that made my blood run cold. "She's going to prison." That night, I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I kept seeing Grandma's face, her smile, the way she'd hug me goodbye at the airport. She'd trusted Rachel too. We'd both been fooled. The next morning, my phone lit up. Rachel's name appeared on the screen along with a smiling photo of her and her kids. My finger hovered over the answer button. Mrs. Anderson had told me, if she calls, record everything. Let her talk. Criminals always confess when they think they're safe. So I hit record, took a deep breath, and answered. Emma, Rachel shouted cheerfully like we were best friends. I have amazing news. What news? I said, keeping my voice flat and emotionless. I sold Grandma's beach house, she said, practically singing the words. Got $320,000 for it. Can you believe that? The realtor said it was the fastest sale she'd ever seen. My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. You sold MY Beach House, I said slowly, carefully. Well, technically it was in Grandma's name, Rachel said quickly. And since you're so far away in Japan doing your photography thing, I figured I'd help out. I'm taking $15,000 as a finder's fee, and you'll get the rest. Aren't I the best sister ever? 15,000 out of 320. She'd stolen over $300,000 and expected me to be grateful. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. Rachel, I said, my voice scary calm, did you forge my signature on those documents? She laughed, this nervous little giggle. Forge? That's such a dramatic word, Emma. I just signed for you since you couldn't be there. That's what family does. We help each other. You committed fraud, I said, louder now. I never gave you permission to sign my name. I never gave you power of attorney. You stole from me. The line went quiet. Then Rachel's voice changed, got mean and sharp. Listen, she hissed. I've been taking care of Mom and Dad while you run around Asia taking pretty PICTURES. I've been handling Grandma's affairs, paying her final bills, doing all the hard work. You don't deserve that beach house. You left, I stayed. The money should be mine. There it was. The truth. She didn't think I deserved what Grandma left me. She thought loyalty meant geography, that staying in our hometown made her better than me. Wrong again, Rachel, I said coldly. My lawyer already knows everything. The police will too. Enjoy your last few days of freedom. I hung up before she could respond. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from power. For the first time in my life, I wasn't letting Rachel push me around. Mrs. Anderson moved fast. She contacted the buyers and explained the situation. They were horrified, wanted nothing to do with a fraudulent sale. She filed a police report. Detective Morrison took my statement over video call. He looked at the forged documents and shook his head. This is textbook fraud, he said. Your sister's looking at serious jail time. She stole a house. Within 48 hours, the police froze all of Rachel's bank accounts. Every penny from the sale, locked down and unreachable. Mom called the next day, screaming into the phone. How could you do this to your sister, she yelled. She has 2 children, Emma, 2 Bobbies who need their mother. And what did I need, Mom? I shot back. A sister who wouldn't rob me. Rachel made her choice. Now she gets to face the CONSEQUENCES. But she's family, Mom cried. Family doesn't call the police on family. Family also doesn't forge signatures and steal $300,000, I said. But here we are. Mom hung up without saying goodbye. I sat there in the silence, tears running down my face. Not because I felt guilty, because I finally realized my family had never truly seen me. Rachel's husband called 2 days later. His name is David, and his voice sounded broken. Emma, he whispered, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know what she did. When the police came to our house, when they froze our accounts, that's when Rachel finally told me everything. He started crying. She used that money to pay off her credit cards, $40,000 of debt. She was going to use the rest to buy a bigger house. I felt sick. She'd stolen my inheritance to upgrade her life. Did the kids know? I asked quietly. No, he said quickly. They're too young. But Emma, they're going to lose their mom. Rachel could go to prison for this. Is that what you want? I closed my eyes. Was it what I wanted? Did I want my niece and nephew growing up without their mother? But then I remembered Grandma's face, her smile, the way she'd saved for years to buy that beach house, the way she'd trusted me with her most precious possession. No, I said firmly. What I want is justice. What I want is for Rachel to admit what she did and face the CONSEQUENCES. David didn't argue. He just said he understood and hung up. The court hearing happened 3 weeks later. I flew back to California for the first time in almost a year. Seeing Rachel in that courtroom was strange. She looked smaller somehow, scared. Her lawyer tried to argue that Grandma had verbally promised the house to both of us. that I'd abandoned my family and didn't deserve the inheritance. But Mrs. Anderson was ready. She had Grandma's will, crystal clear and legally binding. She had the forged documents with Rachel's terrible attempt at copying my handwriting. She had the recorded phone call where Rachel admitted to signing my name without permission. And she had testimony from Mr. Chen, the lawyer who'd first discovered the fraud. The judge listened to everything, his face getting more and more angry. He looked at Rachel with disgust. "Ms. Rodriguez," he said sternly, "you committed fraud against your own sister. You forged legal documents and stole $300,000. This court finds you guilty." Rachel started crying loud sobs that echoed through the courtroom. "I'm sorry," she wailed. "I'm so sorry, Emma. Please forgive me." But her apology felt empty, like words she was saying because she got caught, not because she was truly sorry. The judge sentenced her to 2 years probation, 300 hours community service, and ordered her to pay back every penny, plus $50,000 in damages to me for emotional distress. If she violated probation, she'd go to prison for 3 years. Rachel's face went white as paper. As we left the courtroom, Mom grabbed my arm. "Are you happy now?" she hissed. "You've destroyed your sister's life." "No, Mom," I said, pulling my arm away. "Rachel destroyed her own life when she chose to steal from me. I just made sure she faced consequences." Mom shook her head and walked away, following Rachel, who was still crying. Dad hadn't even come to the hearing. I stood there alone in the courthouse hallway, feeling both victorious and completely alone. David called me that night. "Emma," he said quietly, "I'm filing for divorce. I can't stay married to someone who'd do this. The kids deserve better." I paused. "I'm sorry, David. For the kids, me too," he whispered. "But thank you for standing up for yourself. Someone needed to show Rachel that actions have consequences. Maybe this will finally teach her." "I hope so," I said, "for everyone's sake." We said goodbye, and I looked out my hotel window at the California sunset. Tomorrow I'd fly back to Tokyo, back to my real life. 3 months later, I received a check for $370,000. The sale money, plus damages, plus interest. I stared at it for a long time, thinking about Grandma, about the beach house with blue shutters, about the mornings we spent collecting shells. I used part of the money to buy a small gallery space in Tokyo. I named it Helen's Light after Grandma. On opening day, I hung a huge photo of the beach house in the main room. People asked about it constantly. "That's my inheritance," I'd tell them. "Not just the money, but the lesson. Stand up for yourself, even when it's hard, especially when it's family." Rachel and I never spoke again. I heard through cousins that she got a job at a grocery store trying to pay back the money, that her kids moved in with David's parents while she completed her community service, that Mom stopped talking to me entirely. But you know what? I'm okay with that, because I learned something important. Family isn't just about blood. It's about respect, honesty, and love. And anyone who betrays those things doesn't deserve a place in your life, no matter what their last name is. Grandma taught me to be brave, to see the world, to stand up for myself. And when Rachel tried to steal that legacy, I fought back. Not because I'm mean or heartless, but because some things are worth fighting for. Your dignity, your rights, your grandmother's final gift. If you've ever had to stand up to family who wronged you, drop a comment below. Hit that subscribe button, because Revenge Voice always brings you stories of people who refuse to be victims. Remember, being far away doesn't make you weak. Sometimes distance gives you the clarity to see who people really are, and the strength to do something about it.